The action genre for gaming comes in all shapes and sizes, from short and sweet action games that run 6 to 8 hours to epic 100-hour marathons that blend genres. That's one of the things that makes action games so great. There truly is something for everyone. As games have gotten longer, there's something satisfying about playing through a game on a weekend. Having said that, there's just something incredible about an epic action game that lasts over 100 hours. Destiny 2 offers FPS fans plenty of gameplay, just like there are countless examples from the RPG genre. But what action games fit the bill? We're going to answer that question today by highlighting several action games that you can spend hundreds of hours with. Tears of the Kingdom is the kind of game that completely forgets about time. What starts as a simple quest quickly turns into hundreds of hours of pure experimentation and exploration. You're not just following objectives, you're constantly discovering new islands in the sky, hidden caves underground, and clever ways to solve problems using the game's insane building mechanics. Every player's journey feels different because the game lets you approach challenges in your own creative way. With side quests, secrets, shrines, and endless experimentation, this is an action game you can easily play for over 100 hours without ever feeling bored. Horizon Forbidden West is massive in every sense of the word. From its beautifully detailed open world to its deep combat systems, this is a game that rewards players who take their time. The main story alone is long, but once you dive into side quests, machine hunting, exploration, and upgrades, the hours add up fast. Every region feels handcrafted, and combat encourages strategy rather than button mashing. With tons of optional content, skill progression, and challenging enemies, Forbidden West easily crosses the 100-hour mark, especially for players who want to experience everything the world has to offer. It shouldn't come as a surprise that a game as hard as Nioh 2 will take a lot of time to complete. When you keep dying over and over again, you're going to spend more and more time with the game. Aren't these games fun? The thing about Nioh 2, though, is that there is far more than just the difficulty to draw you in. There's an impressive amount of content here that's inspired by far more than just the Souls-like genre. Everything you know and love in From Software games, Ninja Gaiden, and Diablo are here, helping it stand out from other Souls-like games. Speaking of Diablo, this feels like as good a time as any to bring up the popular ARPG franchise. Diablo has always been a massive time sink where you can happily spend hundreds, if not thousands of hours, and the same is true with Diablo 4. Over time, the game has felt like it's embraced more of the action side of the action RPG genre, which is why we're including Diablo 4 on this list. To be honest, though, you can't go wrong with Diablo 2, 3, or 4. They're all fantastic and have healthy player bases, and with Diablo 4, it's never felt better. The modern Assassin's Creed franchise has been successful at expanding the scope of every game. What started as a fun, albeit flawed, action-adventure game slowly felt like it morphed into somewhat of a GTA clone, only you're an assassin. Over time, Ubisoft lost the plot, and as a result, the franchise fell out of favor. Following a reboot in 2017, Assassin's Creed has leaned into the action RPG genre, with the peak of the franchise coming with Assassin's Creed Odyssey. It's the same jump as Assassin's Creed to Assassin's Creed 2, with Ubisoft honing in on what worked best and refining the gameplay formula to a fantastic, immersive loop you can't help but get lost in.
Remember at the start of this year when we were all happily spending hundreds of hours with Monster Hunter Wilds? Good times. Say what you want about the current state of the game, but there's no denying how much fun the Monster Hunter experience is. There's so much content that you can experience in a variety of ways, all of it always exciting, that you can't help but spend hundreds of hours with it. While some prefer Monster Hunter World, Wilds is more than capable of delivering an unforgettable experience that you won't ever forget. It has its fair share of issues, but what game doesn't? It's worth the hype from the start of the year.
First and foremost, Yakuza 0 is an incredible story that follows both Kazuma Kiryu and Goro Majima, and serves as an excellent entry point to the Yakuza franchise. The main narrative is compelling enough to keep you hooked for hours. Of course, that means you'll have to pry yourself away from the insane amount of side content that exists within the game. There's so much to see and do that it's downright intimidating, but it's also well worth it. Yakuza 0 is a magical game that is the entry point to a magical franchise. It's packed with so much content, so much humor, and it's only the tip of the iceberg.
The beautiful thing about the roguelike genre is that even if you only spend a handful of hours before beating the story, you still spend hundreds of hours with it. First, there's the drive to perfect your run and do better each time, no matter how minuscule the improvement is. With Hades 2, though, there's more than that to keep you coming back. It's learning new weapons, trying out new skills, seeing what you get on your runs that makes things different. The joy of Hades 2 is the excellent combat combined with the experimentation and randomness of each run.
It's still a little silly that Square decided to remake Final Fantasy VII in 3 games, especially since the first one felt incredibly padded. Having said that, I can see the vision with Rebirth. Say what you want about the transition to real-time combat over turn-based, it works wonders and is an excellent modernization of the classic combat system. Where Rebirth truly shines, though, is staying true to the source material. The biggest issue with Remake was how everything was stretched out paper-thin. Rebirth instead strikes an excellent balance between adaptation and new material, and it has me excited to spend hundreds of hours with the trilogy's final entry. One of the things that makes Elden Ring so replayable is how open and free-flowing the game is. It's far too often today that open-world games are filled with bloat and fetch quests. A massive open world is nice in theory, yes, but when most of it isn't worth exploring, then what's the point? That's not the type of open world that exists within Elden Ring, though. Instead, it's one worth exploring, filled with so many secrets that you can't help but discover something new, no matter how many times you've played it. Oh, and it's pretty darn fun to play, too, opening yourself up to a seemingly infinite amount of character builds and playstyles that always keep things fresh and new.
By the time Red Dead Redemption 2 had been released, Rockstar had already proved itself in a league of their own when it comes to the open-world action genre. They already staked their claim with the PS2-era GTA trilogy, but moving into the 360 PS3 era truly let them flex their muscle. Despite this, there were still some technical limitations. Red Dead Redemption 2 takes full advantage of the improved Xbox One PS4 hardware to deliver a bigger, more immersive open world. Combine that with Rockstar's best story to date, and you have one of the best action games of all time. It sure helps, too, that people are still discovering secrets all these years later.
For as great as Red Dead is, there's just something about Grand Theft Auto 5 that continues to stand the test of time. Is it annoying that Rockstar keeps porting GTA 5 instead of actually releasing GTA 6? Sure, but the one nice thing is that the game can finally take advantage of hardware more powerful than the 360 and PS3. There's so much side content worth exploring in the world of Los Santos that, like Yakuza 0, it can be intimidating at times. When all else fails, driving around to view sights and going for a joyride is always a good time. Or you can log into GTA Online and experience an infinite amount of content.